Hey guys, Kenuda here with another episode of Fallen London. God damn it, Sunless Sea. I am picking right back up where I left off before with Visage. Ooh, Visage is to the northeast. But yeah, I'm picking back up where I left off. iPad, shut the fuck up. And hold on, let me. Whatever. Okay, so I'm blah blah blah. I'm picking right back up where I left off. Immediately, just starting up, and heading up to Visage. And I discovered Visage. Discovered Kapalka Cove. Oh, I gained a secret as well. Kapalka. Ooh. What the fuck? Oh, I see. Alright then. Hide your face. Hide all your faces. This is the port of Visage, where faces may not be naked. Except one. A stone monument the size of a village church, serenely gazing upwards, flourishing of years. Create a port report. A departing merchant gives you a confused account of crocodiles and honey cakes and something about ear blockage. To this you add your own impressions about the street layout close to port and the types of commerce here. When the lights are especially bright, it is possible to make out the details of the profile of that great stone face. Oh, I see it's in the background too. There's his nose and the shape of his eye. Alright, once you set foot on Visage, you may be here for a little while. All those who enter must play their parts. The sign is visible only after you have crossed the threshold. Check in at the customs house. One may not wander Visage at will. All visitors must pass, one by one, through a room guarded by a person in the mask of a moon moth. Masks in an assortment of shapes and colors await. Ask the significance of the masks. Assorted pestilences. Moonmoth explains each mask declares a different intention towards the denizens of Visage and must be accompanied by suitable behavior. The frog is for visitors who, though perhaps clumsy and unfamiliar with local etiquette, have come in order to observe local ways and to make uncouth comments about. Is for tourists. The locust is for those who seek profit in Visage and would carry away as many goods as possible. You prompt about the bat. Moonmoth hesitates. Bat is an ill-omened visitor, sent as a messenger or a spy. Bat always dies. I'm glad I asked, rather than choosing the bat mask. I'm gonna choose the frog mask. Moonmoth lisks the mask and places it over your head. The eye holes are large and they are fitted with spectacle. These improve your view of the environment, though you must look bulb-eyed from the outside. There is also a mechanism attached to the mouthpiece which magnifies any sounds you make, even your breathing. You start to thank the Moonmoth and it comes out as a booming croak. May you profit from your visit in knowledge, says Moonmoth, and my dog as he begins talking in the background. Its wings fold neatly over its back. I will be right back, guys. Okay, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. So let's see. On the lower slopes, stone buildings, flat roofs, archways. In the architecture, there lingers a memory of lotus and palm frond. The hill above is a face, forever looking up at the ceiling of the Untersee. No one inhabits its cheeks or the hollows of its eyes. Let us visit the Library of Parts. Stoop at the lintel, enter the dark. A room of heavy stone, guarded by a golden statuette of a woman with outstretched arms. The scroll niches, sorted to correspond to a variety of masks, the jackal and the lioness, the crocodile and dung beetle. A woman in the mask of a lotus blossom is standing at a lectern, reading in silence. Moonmoth stands to one side as your escort and tour guide. Okay. Veil's quality gives me a 43% chance of success. No. No, I'm good. Filed M under M for mast, Moonmoth explains. People think it means something like Library of Fragments, but this is wrong. The parts in question are like parts in a play. This is where the denizens of Visage come in order to learn how to perform their masks more accurately, more completely, with a truer spirit. Let's study the scrolls in a bumbling way. Hearts guarded. Taking the nearest, you read it aloud, for guarding against the loss of the heart. Moonmoth takes it from you, rolls it tightly, and returns it to its niche. There are as many ways of guarding against the loss of the heart as there are different masks, it explains in that same light and indifferent tone voice. Visit the Library of Parts. Write notes in the margins. Halt there. Oh, god damn it. Halt there. Moonmoth is startled. Apparently no other frog has gone so far as to attempt to deface the library's holdings. It gets the pen away from you, expostulating. Later, you find it writing down a record of what you just did, to be added to the Library of Parts, a recollection of what can be expected from frogs. I will be right back once again, guys. Sorry. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see. Let's visit to the Flood Court. The Moonmoth speaks as though you should already know what it is. High water. The Flood Court is a long stone room with 2 ranks of columns on each side. Currently, the court is ankle deep in water. Though water stains on the stone show that the flood has often reached higher, sometimes up to the height of your waist. In a raised niche at the far end of the room sits a statue of a man with the head of a ram. He holds a jar from which water flows out onto the floor. Moonmoth stands to one side as your escort and tour guide. Ask about the purpose of this room. Depth per day. From a corner, Moonmoth picks up a graduated stick. He shows you how a person standing at the end of the room may dip the stick into the water and use it to measure the water level at a pre-selected point, and how the measurements are compared with measurements written on a calendar. If the water level does not match the calendrical position, an assembly of pipes and drains is used to adjust it. It used to be, says the moth, that the water rose and fell of its own accord, and the people before wrote down what height it reached. Now the water is still, but thanks to their actions we can replicate the rise and fall so as still to be pleasing to the god of flood. It completes this explanation with a half-body bow towards the statue of the ram deity. Show oafish enthusiasm for this wonderful indoor pool. Frogs like pools, right? Croak. You exclaim at how much you admire this room and its excellent pool. Your words are, as always, amplified into a croak. Other masks turn towards you. Crocodile, Lotus Blossom, Crescent Moon, but no one speaks. You have garnered a suitable degree of disdain. Moonmoth quietly applauds your performance of froghood. I like that. Trade masks with the Moonmoth. It has been making subtle overtures for some time. You only now understand them. It is keen to go. It draws you aside into a closet in the customs house. Had enough of Visage, it tells you frankly. Here, you take my mask and pretend to be me, and I'll trade in the visitor mask and get on some departing ship. Get my life back. Its face, no, now you see her face, is aging but unlined. A lifetime of never needing to use a facial expression. Oh, this is not going to be good. Visit the house of the chief geometer. Lines in wet ground. Each morning, the man in the cobra mask draws lines in the mud flat with a pointed steel rod. This apportions to each inhabitant a small trapezoidal area from which to harvest mushrooms and to scrape salt. No plot is ever preserved from one day to the next. This man is the chief geometer, the keeper of directions, master of land measures and sea measures. Now you have been invited to his home, at the time customarily appointed for him to receive those who were not his equal in rank, yet not so far beneath him as to deserve to be ignored. What ceremonial gift will you bring? Let's see. This is interesting. Oh, god damn it, what do I do? It is impertinent for one of lesser rank to presume to show charity to a superior. No, you arrive empty-handed. Already piled on his table are the wrappings of other gifts. They reprove you. You have erred. You have no choice to depart early before someone thinks to have you remasked in a more embarrassing part. Damn it. Visit the house of the chief geometer. Fuck! Bring a poem. Mixed results. He appears to be pleased by this gift, but it takes him aback as well. Several times he remarks that this sort of merchandise is something he would expect to be brought to the island by a bat. It requires a great deal of chittering and wing folding to persuade him of your moth nature. Whew! Oh, that's lucky. Bring him 2 honey cakes. Triumph! He accepts. He approves. The cakes are placed on the front table of his receiving room so that the other guests may observe and appreciate the correctness of your gesture. You are permitted to stand to one side and to watch the others arrive, but there is no one whose gift supplants yours in the place of honor. Not even the gift of a preserved lark, frozen in gelatin with a bubble of song rising from its open beak. When you depart the chief geometer's house, he presses on you a prediction that one day, when you have most need, the earth will swallow you in one place and spit you out in another. It is, of course, only a ritual saying. Oh, shit. Enter the hollow of the ear. This is a journey of several steps and may conclude your current visit. A proud nose. It is a festival day. The great stone face has been illuminated from forehead to chin with blazing torches so that the profile is visible from the side more clearly than you have ever seen it. Flourishing of years is awake, says the genderless figure in the crocodile mask. All the denizens of Visage are walking towards the ear together. There is a place in the procession which belongs by right to the wearer of your mask. Damn it, I wish I had a flare. Fall in line with others. You go as though you were truly one of them. You carry nothing with you but your mask and your costume. May your heart be as light as a feather, says the woman in the lotus blossom mask as you fall into line behind her. The road you follow leads up through switchbacks along the side of the face and finally to the ear of Flourishing of Years, and into the cave that is her ear. The tunnel bends back on itself and all lights have now been extinguished. There is nothing to guide you but the hand of the person behind you on your back and the movement of the person in front of you. The one who walks beside you wears a bat mask. Fortunately, the floor of the tunnel is very smooth and presents no stumbling blocks. Sound carries strangely in this place, however. Sometimes you cannot hear your own footsteps, and sometimes a breath comes back to you audible from someplace ahead in line. Continue. The footsteps of the people are steady and synchronized, and you go together. For how many years has this done, and for how many will it be done in the future? Watch your step here, says Bat Mask to you in an undervoice. Its accent is the accent of Wolfstack Docks. Floor is about to get squishier, and sure enough, it does. Ooh. Wow. Such a dick. At last, the tunnel opens out. You and all the other congregants spread out in a cavernous space. A voice speaks in the darkness, a ritual preparation. Here at the new year, we gather under the one mask of Flourishing of Years. Her face is turned to the gods. Protected by her mask, we may remove our own. Protected by her script, we may speak outside our parts. Here and there is the sound of people fumbling with ties and strings. Your own face feels different with the mask off. I'm going to tell one of my own secrets. All this time under the mask, it would be freeing, strangely liberating. You begin to speak. Certain weights lift away. You have been in the wrong from time to time, but it is forgivable. The hour of confidence is drawing to its end. If there is anything else you need to do, now is the time. At the end of the hour, there comes a woman with a feather of shimmering silver which she tucks into your hand, symbol of the innocent heart that will not be eaten by the jackal. Then a bell rings and the time of speech is over. You all begin to put your masks back on. It is possible, you cannot know for sure, that in this cover someone has exchanged a mask with someone else. It is an orderly and perfect line that emerges again from the era flourishing of years. If anyone watches from above, they must surely be satisfied. I got a captivating treasure! Yes! Those are worth so much money! End your performance and leave the aisle. Calmer. When the other citizens are distracted, you find your way to the familiar customs house and rid yourself of mask and robe. There is satisfaction in laying aside a role well performed. Well then, that's been this trip. Alright, I'm definitely going to have to do that again later on. But now, I need to make my way to the cat aisles. The Isle of Cats is some distance to the south. Hi there, albino eel. Is it straight south? Or is it past the eel? Oh, hey, here it is, the Isle of Cats. And Port Cavendish. Wasn't Cavendish an important name for something? I don't remember. Okay. Port Cavendish, a scatter of yellow-lit honey dens and brightly painted alehouses. To the southeast rises the stone tower of Cavendish Abbey. Its ramparts hung with crimson and gold banners. There are sailors from all across the Neath, hauling cargo, dicing, and brawling good-naturedly on the docks. The air carries the sound of sea shanties, sung with more enthusiasm than skill, and the smell of roses edged with brimstone. Oh, here's where I can get the red honey. And I can sell sunlight here. Oh. I'm going to compile a port report. Roses and kings. You spend half a day observing the docks and note an astonishing number and variety of ships. Was that a Khanate trimaran nestled beside a vessel from the Iron Republic? The dockhands complain loudly that they have never been busier. The caddies talk ceaselessly and carelessly about smuggling and piracy, but even the most hardened sailors lower their voices when they mention the king. They go even quieter when they talk about the Rose Garden. You make careful notes. Perhaps the Admiralty will understand what they mean, even if you don't. The Pirate King's notice no more than 0. A key to the Cage Gardens, and 5 echoes. Welcome to the Isle of Cats, the wide-eyed dockmaster says brightly. Would you like to bribe me not to write down your details in this nice official ledger? You hand over the coins, and she tips you a sharp smile before waving you to the nearest alehouse. The entire process is straightforwardly corrupt and pleasingly efficient. The alehouse's sign is a tiger painted the color of rose petals. Someone has gone to great trouble and expense to gild the creature's eyes. They look out over the port, feral and unseeing. A caged hive of lamplighter bees hangs from the ceiling like a chandelier. A few sailors give you hard-mouthed, assessing looks, but most ignore your presence entirely. The caddies all wear a pair of amber stones threaded around their necks or pinned to their collars. Cat's eyes, one of them says, for the Pirate King. As far as you can gather, the Pirate King's name is Leopold, and he controls all the trade on the island. Half of the caddies believe that he can take the form of a crimson tiger and creep into their dreams. The other half suspect, more prosaically, that he simply eats those who displease him. A whispered conversation, the clink of coins, an exchange of goods. The merest taste. You turn your head as though you were admiring one of the moldering draperies hung from the wall. A vial flashes in the buyer's trembling hands. He uncorks it, pours a few drops of thick red liquid down his throat. The vial drops to the floor. When you look back up, he is gone. You blink and look around. Nobody else seems in the least perturbed that a man disappeared from their midst. You pick up the vial and examine the traces left inside. Sticky honey gleaming with redness entirely unlike blood. Is that a crimson-veiled nun? What sort of nun would be in a place like this? A mellifluous sister, of course, she responds, performing a complicated negotiation between veil, thick glove, and glass of mushroom wine. You ask what one of those is, and she snorts, "I'm glaring at you underneath this bloomin' veil." You act appropriately cowed, and the mellifluous sister thaws a little. "We are beekeepers and honey harvesters. The caddies owe their prosperity to us and the Pirate King, too." She slurps the last of the mushroom wine behind her veil, and the barkeep glides over to refill her glass, eyes respectfully downcast. There must be more to the Isle of Cats than drunken sots and Z-stories. Laws of the land. The barkeep stops you before you reach the door and hands you a brooch set with 2 amber stones. He waits impassively until you pin it to your clothes. "Everybody wears the cat's eyes here," he tells you, moving aside to let you pass. Just a friendly reminder that the Pirate King is watching. It seems that no place, then, is truly lawless. I am almost entirely beneath his notice. The Honey-Eyed Tongue. It is both brothel and honey den, run by someone the caddies refer to as the King's Claw. Entering the brothel is like sliding into the dream of a surface orientalist. Jewel-embroidered cushions, bright silk drapes, gilded statues of elephants, sun bears, and clouded leopards. Silver censers release curling plumes of rose-scented smoke into the air. Have I ever told you how much of a fucking tongue twister this stuff is? The courtesans are red-lipped and coal-smudged. When you catch their eyes, they smile back at you with professional interest. Your actions will attract the Pirate King's notice. You need 5 times Pirate King's notice to gain an offer from a patron. Ask what red honey is. You know, of course, only the particulars may have slipped your mind. One of the nearby courtesan's eyebrows lifts infinitesimally, but his reply is practiced. When lamplighter bees suck the nectar of the crimson strain of exile's rose, they are driven to madness. They enter the brains of humans and harvest their memories. He shudders, as though imagining the process himself. Those memories are instilled in red honey. Each sip is a burst of memory on the tongue. Deliciously awful, isn't it? He flutters his dyed feather fan. Comfort a Z-captain. A Z-captain is weeping gently into a courtesan's bosom, muttering of her lost crew and rose gardens. "They're all tending the gardens now," she wails and begins to weep again. "My poor crew." You wait for a hitch in the sobs and inquire further. It is a slow, delicate business, drawing answers out of her, but you are nothing if not persistent. It seems her crew was conscripted by the Lady of the Gardens, and that their duties are something far worse than horticulture. You leave her reciting the names of her lost sailors and commending them to Salt's mercy. I cannot do anything here, so perhaps not. Cavendish Abbey. The crimson-clad mellifluous sisters patrol its ramparts and tend their hives of lamplighter bees. The mellifluous sisters make their home in the richly appointed stone tower of Cavendish Abbey. Their thick gloves and crimson mesh helmets are worn less for modesty and more for practicality. They tend the hives of the lamplighter bees all across the isle, and make a religious observance of harvesting red honey for the Pirate King. She could, she tells you earnestly, really use a lamentable relic. Best not what to ask her for. She is only a recent novice and barely even inducted into the lower apistic mysteries. Still, she has some useful information to impart. The recent destabilization of the red honey trade elsewhere has been fortuitous for the Isle of Cats. Honey production can barely meet demand. The abbess and the Lady of the Gardens are having some kind of dispute over staffing, of all things. Fuel for the bee smokers. The sister tells you that the Pirate King went to Abbey Rock 50 years ago and asked the abbess to send some of her novices to Port Cavendish. You ask why, and she shakes her head. The better question is, why did the abbess send her precious novices to a place like this? You suggest a hefty bribe, or perhaps coercion. The sister cackles harshly. The Sisters of the Rock respect strength of arms, which of course the Pirate King knew only too well. He challenged the abbess to a duel, and won. She didn't have much of a choice then. She cackles again. Ask our abbess if you don't believe me. She was one of those very novices sent across the sea. Oh fuck, that was 5 fuel? I didn't even notice. God damn it. Oh shit. Isri, the King's Claw, enforces the peace on the Isle of Cats, inasmuch as anyone does. They are entertained by your tale of a box. They look it over, tapping thoughtfully at the lock with the claw rings on their right hand. I'm not giving you shit. That box is either going to do something amazing or something really stupid. But with the last of my money, it is almost time to head back. In fact, I'm going to end this episode off here, guys. Since the next episode is going to be a trip to Fallen London, it's basically just going to be a lot of cursory stuff. I don't think that's the right word. It's going to be a lot of basic stuff, just selling things, getting rid of things, doing what I can. I'm just going to skip that in the next episode, and I don't know, maybe I might come back to the Isle of Cats, I might go back to Visage, I might explore more. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I might try and make more money. But anyway, that is all for next episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. If you have, please leave a like, a favorite, leave a comment down below telling me what you've thought of the last couple of stories. I thought Visage was pretty interesting, though not quite as interesting as Nuncio. I don't know, religion has always been a big topic for me. Just something I love to discuss. And Nuncio was definitely very religious. But if you guys have enjoyed, please let me know. If you guys have enjoyed the stories, please comment. Tell me what you liked about them. Let's have a conversation. And I don't mean that sarcastically. Let's have a conversation in the comments below. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next episode, alright? Thanks, guys. Bye-bye!